poppin'? Today we are not here in GTA 5. Instead, we're gonna do something spooky, creepy, scary with my little brother here. Okay guys, this is my little sister here and we're gonna try the try not to be scared challenge by seeing an animated story. It's really scary. It's really gonna be scary and spooky, creepy, whatever. And it's by Llama Arts. Yeah, he makes good stories. He's a great person. Yeah, I love his stories. He made great content. Link in description. Go visit his channel. He has many great contents. Okay, on to the video. The roommate. The story.
Looking for a new roommate is always a daunting task. Even though you interview and take the time to get to know that person, you don't truly find out who they are until you start living with them. I had begun searching for a roommate after I decided to leave my current residency. I was contacted a couple of hours after placing an ad on the Facebook Marketplace. The message read,
"Hey Chris, I'll be moving out of my current apartment this August and I'm looking to room with someone new, as my roommates are moving to California this year. I'm 27 and I'm currently going to school. When I'm not at school, I enjoy hiking and watching movies. I also apprentice at a taxidermy shop on the days I don't have class. Hope that's not weird. It's always been a fun hobby of mine. Anyway, I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. Have a great day, Lunaire."
My first and most obvious reaction after reading the message was to check her profile. She was of medium height, had long, messy blonde hair and green eyes. In her profile picture, I saw her standing with a man and a woman shoulder to shoulder. They each adorned goofy grins and held up peace signs. Under the photo, the caption read, "Love my roommates."
My roommates.
I smiled to
The
myself
roommate
and
story name
decided
is
to
the
send her a message
roommate.
back. The sun beat down
Wait,
on us as we
wait.
hoisted various objects to the second floor.
See that? Who is that? Who the heck? Who the frick is? Who are you? Who are you? She is just staring at him. Is that a... Let's continue.
The sun beat down on us as we hoisted various objects to the second floor of our new apartment. It took us a couple days to get everything out of the moving trucks and into our new place, but as soon as we did, a wave of relief washed over our sweat-drenched and sore bodies. After a couple more hours of rearranging, we each grabbed a beer from the fridge and sat on the porch. We reminisced about old 90s cartoons and what video games we obsessed over as kids. And as the sun started to set, I truly felt relaxed and confident that things were going to work out.
Oh,
a week
lucky,
later,
man.
I started a new job for a construction company that was owned by a good friend of
Does he have a
mine.
name?
As I was getting
7 name, there's a 7 in the screen too. Flipped 7. Whatever.
ready, I heard the front door swing open. I walked into the
Nice
living
shoes,
room
man.
to see
Which
Lunaire
brand?
and her friend
I need
David
one.
sliding in a large box.
Is that
What you got
your brother
there?
or what?
I asked.
Oh, no.
Through a strained
Different.
grunt, she replied,
I bought a freezer to store some of the animals I'm planning on using in my taxidermy work. I hope that's alright.
Animals?
I was
In a
obviously
freezer?
hesitant at first, as there was no mention of this happening in the first place, but I eventually accepted and returned to my room to continue.
Not at all. Say something, idiot. What you gonna do? She's gonna store animals in the freezer, dude. You just gonna stare at her or watch it? Fool, Derek, idiot. And what's her name? Natasha? No. Maybe Bethany.
Happened
don't
in the
know.
first place, but I eventually accepted and returned to my room to continue getting ready for work. I came home at around 9 p.m. after having a couple of beers with friends and noticed that the freezer was nestled snugly in the lower part of the pantry. A low hum could be heard
Just look, man.
reverberating off
What?
the inner walls.
Just see what?
I was curious to see what was inside, but didn't want to intrude on Lunaire's business, so I went into my room and changed into more comfortable clothing. After changing, I came back out into the kitchen and started making a sandwich. I opened the fridge and grabbed what I needed. As I turned around, I stubbed my toe on the edge
That's
of
the
the island.
worst ever feeling we've all. A single person will not be there in the world who hasn't got it. Oh my god. It hurts so much, man. Really, it
on
hurts
the
so
edge of the iron
much.
countertop and let out a long, exasperated grunt. Through my
I
frustration,
feel
I
that,
slammed
man.
the fridge door
Oh my
shut
God.
and checked my toe to see if there was any bleeding. As I raised my head back up, I was
Oh my
greeted
gosh,
by a
she's-
shadowy figure. Lunaire was standing in the doorway leading to her room. The darkness behind her almost
Is
seemed to
something
envelop
gonna
her.
Oh my god, she's so creepy, man.
Look at her face.
Oh.
Is everything okay?
She
She's-
said in a deadpan
Her
tone.
voice, even her
"Shit,
voice is
yeah,
so.
I'm sorry. I just slammed my toe into the corner of the countertop as I was making a sandwich. I hope I didn't wake you.
What did you just say,
It's
man?
fine.
I hope I didn't wake you.
Hope you didn't wake her. Oh, is that her ghost? Idiot.
It's fine.
She said,
It's
in
fine.
the same
Oh,
deflated
man.
tone as before.
And her eyes move. And
She then turned
turns
around
over
and walked
goes
back into the
some
darkness of her
and
room.
goes into the dark and
I could
closes the
tell
door
that she
and
was
he has her
pissed,
blue eyes,
so I
no,
quietly
violet
made my
eyes,
sandwich
white
and
bread
retreated
and
back to my
butter
room
and
as well, only hearing the low hum from the freezer as I closed my door. I had the next
Why
day
don't
off,
you
so I
just
was able
check
to
the
sleep in a
freezer,
little
man?
longer than usual. When I finally emerged from my room, I walked into the kitchen to make breakfast.
He has a mustache.
As I
just
opened the refrigerator,
No, it
I
was
noticed
lit.
that the light wasn't turning on and there was a lack of cold air escaping from inside. I turned around and flipped the
You
light
just get it
switch to
repaired,
confirm my
man.
suspicion. Sure enough, the power was out. Damn it, I muttered under my breath. I walked over to Lunaire's room and knocked on her door to tell her about the power outage if she didn't already know, but there was no answer.
Oh, you both are
I
in
then
different
remembered that she had
rooms.
classes
Okay.
that day and probably wasn't home. I walked back to the kitchen and past the pantry. As I did, I slipped on the
Yeah,
floor and
that
I was
is-
able to catch myself on the countertop.
Student. Oh.
What the? I angrily exclaimed as I looked down at the floor, trying to figure out what I had slipped
What
on.
the frag? You should
There was
have told
blood,
it.
and it started to
Oh, it's blood.
leak from the corner of the freezer and pool onto the floor. I quickly tried to open the freezer and pool onto the floor. I quickly tried to open the
it's her-
freezer to
it's
find
her.
out the
You
cause of
should-
the viscous
you sh-
liquid,
It's
but then I
blood.
noticed that it had a padlock attached to it.
You should have.
I don't remember
You
seeing
shouldn't
that
have
before.
allowed to store animals
out to my
inside
car
the
and grabbed
freezer.
my
You
toolbox
idiot! You
from the back
just
seat.
said you wanna.
I approached the freezer and set my tools down on the nearby countertop. I then pulled out a small pair of bolt cutters and snapped through the metal of the padlock. It fell to the ground with a large thud. I creaked open the top
That
of the
was
freezer
cool,
and was
man.
greeted with a putrid stench
Ah.
that permeated my nostrils. I quickly pinched my nose and walked away gagging in response. I guess I should have realized that was gonna happen, I muttered to myself in between gags. After gaining my composure, I grabbed some gloves from under the sink and started taking inventory. I could see a couple of
Oh
dead
my.
birds in plastic bags wedged into the corners of the freezer.
She's so.
I took each bag out and set them in the trash can nearby. That's when I noticed that the blood was coming from the corner of the larger black bag. I don't know why, but I decided to open the top of the bag and peer inside. I was greeted by large, milky
Oh
red
my
eyes,
god!
a swollen
He's
black
holding.
tongue surrounded by cracked and bloated lips, and the matted hair of a
Is
human
this
head.
her roommate who she
I swiftly
loves?
dropped the bag and fell backwards onto the floor. My breathing had ceased to exist, and I grabbed the trash can next to me and expelled my disgust into it.
Oh yeah. I
Then
feel
ran out
that
the
too,
door,
man.
got into my car, and called the police. As I
Oh,
sat
you're
in the
just calling
interrogation
now?
room with a blanket over my shoulders, I couldn't help but think about the face I'd seen.
Face I've seen. You wouldn't have seen it if you have just told her. Don't know. You shouldn't do that. You should not store animals, dead animals, in the freezer. Oh my god! And now you see a head of blood, whatever, and you just. Yeah, get the
Couldn't help but think
blanket.
about
So
the
that's
face I'd seen.
nothing. What's you?
So familiar.
Oh my god.
That's when it finally hit me. I pulled out my phone and looked at
What?
Lunaire's profile picture. It was her old
Oh.
roommate. The one she said was moving to
You got a
California.
roommate who she loves.
When the detective entered the room, she started the questioning process, asking me
He's
if I started
next.
noticing any weird
Maybe he's
behavioral
next,
occurrences
man.
around
We
the
can
apartment.
tell, we can,
Yeah,
but
I
we
stubbed my toe
can.
the other day and she creepily stood in the doorway. It seemed like she was pissed, but for some reason I had a strange feeling like she was concerned about something.
Concerned about what, man? You
That's
just
when I connected
let.
the dots. She didn't come out into the kitchen because she heard me stub my toe. She came out into the kitchen because she thought I slammed the freezer instead of the fridge.
Oh.
A cold
She
sweat
didn't
started to
even
form
care
on my
about
forehead
you,
as my
man.
surroundings
She
became
just-
blurred.
Yeah, it's next
I could
next
hear
to
low
you. It's
whine
perfect,
slowly
man.
starting to cover up the words of concern from
You
the
should have
detective.
known.
As my vision started to clear,
Oh.
I could see another officer enter the room and whisper something into her ear as he handed her a piece of paper.
Oh my God.
Do you
What's that?
have somewhere you could stay at? She asked. I mean, I was planning on staying with my parents. They live about 30 minutes outside of town.
Just
Okay,
freaking
she
go.
paused.
Why do
Listen,
you wanna?
I don't want to worry you, but we found this picture
Is that-
inside of your
He's
apartment.
narrating. Oh.
She slid the piece of paper across the table, and I immediately felt like someone kicked me in the chest. The head of Lunair's other roommate sat on the chair. In the background, scrawled on the wall
Now
in
my
blood,
roommates,
read,
all of.
"Love my roommates,
That's so sweet.
all of them."
Gosh, yeah, you need it. Story by Kristen Johnston, narrated by Kristen Johnston. Additional voice by Riley Odolengi and animated by Llama Arts. Yeah, and guys, yeah, visit their channel, link in description. Yeah, you really got me, man. This story, this even can happen in real life, man. It's just a roommate story, and maybe there are people who want to. I don't want to think about that. I'm just gonna leave it here because it's already 2 a.m. I hope, and I want to sleep. So, and this little whatever, she also want to sleep. So, I'm just gonna leave it here, and first link in description. That's all for today. Bye.
His camera died. Anyway, don't forget to
Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.